Ayla had a massive research facility constructed in the designated zone. Located 300 kilometers northwest of the Humanity Academy, it was built into a mountain range. This mountain range, called the Walizi, a phonetic transcription from the Kate language, was over 2,300 miles long, composed of three main peaks appearing rather wide, 410 miles. At the center of this range, at an average elevation of 1,173 meters, stood a colossal, dome-shaped structure over 20 kilometers in diameter. It was pure white, with a circular glass corridor encircling the base. Luna followed a robot controlled by Ayla through this corridor. The vast white corridor was empty except for them. Ayla stopped before a white wall, then touched it, seemingly, melting into it like magic. Luna wasn't fazed. Ayla's technology could easily create realistic holograms. This white wall was merely a different kind of door. She followed, touching the wall, and the scenery instantly changed. The empty corridor transformed into a bustling research facility filled with countless machines, biological specimens, and viruses. The sounds of experiments, equipment, and general activity filled the air, a stark contrast to the previous silence. Ayla slowly walked forward. This is a large facility. It took me over 200 years to build, and the equipment here represents the pinnacle of my capabilities. This was a multidisciplinary research facility. Luna even saw a creature resembling the mythical chimera in one of the steel labs, a far more complex creation than her cosmic life forms. "What's your current approach to bioengineering?" Luna asked, curiously avoiding Ayla's previous question. It wasn't something she wanted to discuss. Mythological recreation. Essentially, I can create any creature regardless of its mythical abilities or unusual appearance, stripping away only the fantastical aspects. Mythological recreation is similar to your gene library project. It's about uncovering the mysteries of the genome. Can organisms generate electricity using specific organs? Or can living beings directly manipulate the four fundamental forces? Understanding biology, Luna knew this was long-term research. Currently, they required a planet-sized device to investigate the fundamental forces. Concentrating the necessary energy would take thousands, even tens of thousands of years, let alone enabling weak cells to manipulate these forces. This project was parallel to Luna's own. Continuing their conversation, they arrived at another lab. The sounds of the previous lab were absent. The room was relatively small, only 200 square meters. The walls were lined with various tools, wrenches, screwdrivers, electric drills, hundreds of items, giving the room the feel of a workshop rather than a laboratory. It was a romantic space for a mechanically inclined individual. Luna imagined offering someone a job here, no salary required, just the opportunity to work here, and they would gladly spend their lives here. But Luna only glanced at the tools, her gaze settling on the center of the room. A black structure, composed of numerous tiny overlapping plates resembling scales, lay there. The outer layer was covered with a thin metal plating. It looked less futuristic and more like ancient armor, albeit modernized and streamlined. Upon closer inspection, it was a suit of powered armor. The suit was only 2.2 meters tall, clearly not designed for human-sized users. Intricate machinery was visible beneath the outer plating. The entire suit is made from the light-based alloy. While it might not be ideal, it's the best metal we can currently produce, Ayla explained. To create something stronger requires manipulating the four fundamental forces and understanding the string theory, enabling us to create the fundamental elements from strings. The helmet's design is based on ancient battle helmets with minor modifications for a more futuristic look. It's a perfect blend of ancient and modern design. The armor is lightweight, streamlined, and form-fitting. To maximize the joints' flexibility, we had to compromise on protection. The armor's abdomen utilized numerous articulated components resembling a series of abdominal muscles. The chest plate wasn't made of solid steel, allowing for flexibility of movement. The appearance isn't the most important aspect. Its functionality is. The helmet contains an oxygen generation system. On planets with an atmosphere, there's no need for oxygen tanks. On planets lacking an atmosphere, it can extract oxygen from water or other oxygen-containing substances, greatly increasing survivability. If neither is available, it's equipped with a metallic oxygen reserve sufficient for 57 days. The armor isn't heavily armed. Its weaponry is primarily electromagnetic, providing shields, offensive capabilities, and acceleration. Inspired by Iron Man, the armor has electromagnetic devices in each palm, allowing for flight, and a laser emitter in each index finger, usable as a cutting tool or concealed weapon. The power source differs significantly from Iron Man's. For weight reduction, it lacks any independent power storage. Instead, 193 small energy collectors are distributed throughout the armor. Theoretically, it can instantly replenish its energy from ambient dark matter, making energy depletion practically impossible. The armor's performance specifications are as follows: 16.2-ton lifting capacity, 2.1-ton gripping strength, ground speed of 418 ms under 1 g gravity, flight speed of 1227 ms in Earth's atmosphere. Key joints can withstand 182 tons of pressure, 31 kilometers of water pressure, temperatures up to 4,000 degrees C and down to 211 degrees C. Maximum offensive power, 10,000 tons of TNT. Maximum defensive capacity, 890,000 tons of TNT. Nuclear weapons are unlikely to destroy it. Radiation resistance is excellent, reaching Type 3 standards, capable of withstanding 96% of high-energy radiation bursts. In combat situations, the armor can trigger hormone release to enhance cognitive function and fully unlock all capabilities. The armor also has a simulated death mode. In extreme situations, it can induce a low-power hibernation state while simultaneously transmitting a distress signal, increasing survival chances. It also includes a small server, providing computational support, including data analysis, technological design, and information retrieval. It can also be used with drones for expanded reconnaissance and mapping. This is only the first-generation model, designation 00. After market deployment and feedback, subsequent models will undergo enhancements and become standard equipment. For the Federation's military, it's already highly functional. Luna, would you like to try it? Luna nodded. She had wanted to try the suit on since she first saw it. She approached, and the armor's chest and abdomen opened automatically, providing access. As she was about to enter, Ayla received a message. The Interstellar Explorers Guild reports a cosmic plague rapidly infecting explorers and spreading to our civilizations. The cause is unknown. Victims die in agonizing pain within 2 days. It's highly contagious, affecting humans, multi-eyed, Kate, and various flora and fauna. Current infections, 7 million and rising. Luna's expression changed. This was a catastrophe. Luna remained in the research facility to avoid infection. Given her expertise in biology, she suspected this was a form of environmental contamination rather than a viral pandemic. While viruses, at the genetic or cellular level, were unlikely to affect 3 distinct species simultaneously, environmental contaminants were far more probable. Regardless of her suspicions, Ayla immediately mobilized all available resources to investigate the origin of the plague. The first cases originated in the newly designated Long Serpent sector. This wasn't a large sector, containing only 2 stars, but numerous asteroids orbited between them. These asteroids were likely remnants from the star's formation, trapped between their gravitational pulls, forming a long serpentine structure, 4 light-years long, extending towards Alpha Centauri. This was the epicenter of the outbreak. Due to its abundant metallic minerals, this sector was a popular exploration site for explorers seeking a steady income stream, though not necessarily a get-rich-quick scheme. The first victim was a Kate. On the first day, they only experienced mild fever. They assumed rest would cure them. But then, it wasn't just a fever. Blackheads began to erupt on its body, growing rapidly and then bursting, releasing a foul-smelling gray pus. Realizing something was wrong, it left its room to seek medical attention, coming into contact with numerous other explorers. Upon arrival at the medical facility, due to the lack of advanced medical equipment in space, its condition could not be immediately diagnosed or contained. It came into contact with doctors and nurses without any precautions, and then watched helplessly as the blackheads transformed into gaping wounds oozing blood uncontrollably. It was in excruciating pain, as if being slowly tortured. Its final moments were filled with agonizing cries and screams. Photos of its corpse showed it digging into its own body, extracting its internal organs. It claimed to have insects inside its body. Clearly, the intense pain and the disease's characteristics had driven it to a state of mental collapse leading to hallucinations. Subsequently, explorers at the base began exhibiting similar symptoms: fear, despair, pain. Some explorers entered hibernation, then boarded ships to return to Proxima Centauri for treatment. When the first ship arrived at the spaceport, it was completely silent. Inspection crews forced entry and discovered that the hibernating explorers were dead even in cryogenic conditions. They were horrified. The explorers' skin had completely decomposed, leaving only fragmented muscle and bone. The hibernation pods contained only a gruesome, pulpy mess. Despite wearing protective suits and undergoing decontamination, several inspectors exhibited the same symptoms within 2 days. And so did those they had contacted. This was the chain of infection. Upon receiving this information, Luna first instructed Ayla to initiate quarantine measures. Anyone who had direct or indirect contact with the victims, and even those who had contact with the victims, would be quarantined. Second, determine the cause, identify the pathogen. Third, immediately dispatch ships to the Long Serpent sector to assess the situation and pinpoint the source. These 3 steps were executed concurrently. Quarantine measures within Proxima Centauri took 2.5 years, resulting in the eventual containment of the plague at the cost of 1.6 billion Kate lives. The human population in the designated zone plummeted from 420,000 to 180,000. Luna lost several friends at the Humanity Academy. Such is the cruelty of space. Strength doesn't guarantee safety. There are always unknowns. 7 months into the first year, Ayla received a message from the multi-eyed planet. The plague was also spreading there, far more aggressively due to the lack of Ayla's intervention. The multi-eyed population, once 1.6 billion, was reduced to less than 400 million within a year, a 3/4 mortality rate. If left unchecked, the light chasers would be annihilated. Fortunately, Ayla immediately created a copy of herself and transmitted it to the multi-eyed planet's main server via photon transmission, stabilizing the situation within 3 years. In the 6th year, Ayla, using a scanning tunneling microscope, identified the pathogen. It was a ghost particle, or rather, a microscopic life form the size of a ghost particle. Ghost particles are neutrinos, fundamental particles in the universe, with a mass and size only 1/1,000,000th that of an electron. At this scale, it would seem impossible for life to exist. Ayla possessed data on naturally occurring life forms. The smallest known life forms were at the molecular level. Neutrinos were infinitesimally smaller, but Ayla was certain that what she had observed was a living organism. This life form couldn't exist under natural conditions. Its cellular structure might be based on strings. Strings again. Luna felt a headache coming on. She had encountered too many string-related challenges. She spoke to the screen. It seems we're not dealing with a cosmic virus, but a highly advanced civilization. While she had suspected it, the confirmation brought a new level of seriousness. Ayla's holographic projection nodded. Indeed, Luna. The warships I sent to the Long Serpent sector have lost contact. That's highly unusual. There's an 82.61% chance we've been attacked by an unknown civilization. Their weapon is this neutrino-scale life form. Fortunately, I've been researching the microscopic realm for the past few centuries. Otherwise, these neutrino-scale organisms would have annihilated the Kate civilization, the light chasers, and the human population. The war had begun silently. This civilization, possessed a significant advantage at the microscopic level. Luna considered this. If this civilization is still in the Long Serpent sector, they're likely indigenous. Ayla, launch a high-energy photon strike against the Long Serpent sector. Don't hold back. If they aren't indigenous, their presence in the Long Serpent sector suggests an attempt to deplete our forces before launching a full-scale attack. Deploy the fleet to the Long Serpent sector. Launch a suicidal attack to demonstrate our remaining strength while simultaneously appearing desperate. This might buy us some time. Avoid revealing our full strength, leave no wreckage behind. The fleet should also gather as much intelligence as possible. Knowing our enemy is crucial. While buying time, Ayla, accelerate your research into the microscopic realm. After completing Phase 2 of the Dyson Swarm project, dedicate all available resources to researching the microscopic world, achieving or approaching grand unification, and detecting strings. Luna didn't know the enemy's strength. This was the best course of action given the current lack of information. Interstellar warfare required advanced knowledge, superior technology, and sufficient weaponry. Any small breakthrough could alter the course of the war. She had waited 1,000 years during the conflicts with the Multi-Eyed and the Kate, but she didn't know how long this civilization's patience would last. From this moment on, they must focus on the microscopic world and energy production. Luna hoped to halt the enemy's advance. The Federation's first campaign had begun. Project Italy Cannon was Ayla's ongoing project to create a star-scale electromagnetic cannon. This superweapon would utilize the Dyson Swarm, drawing 72% of its energy for firing high-energy particle beams. As the saying goes, might makes right. Ayla fully understood this principle. From space, this star-scale cannon was a colossal structure. Icy blue, 181 kilometers long, 39 kilometers wide, and 42 kilometers high. Despite its lightweight design, it weighed 429 billion tons. Its initial energy output could reach 200 quadrillion tons of TNT, 8.4 x 1026 joules, equivalent to the combined energy output of the two stars over 1.4 seconds. This was also equivalent to the total energy output of Phase 1 of the Dyson Swarm over 3.4 minutes. This wasn't much for a Type 1.9 civilization. This level of energy output was insufficient. Like the Kate civilization's dark matter cannons, the energy utilization efficiency was appallingly low, but this was to be expected. Ayla hypothesized that all peak Type 1 civilizations would face this firepower limitation due to material constraints. Excessively powerful energy outputs would cause the entire star-scale cannon to collapse. Upgrading materials required reaching Type 2. The difference in energy output between Type 1.9 and Type 2 was relatively minor. The true difference lay in the technological advancements, exceeding a 10-fold or even 100-fold increase. This was why Luna was so cautious. The enemy displayed the technological capabilities of a nascent Type 2 civilization. Italy Cannon modification complete. Targeting the Long Serpent sector. Coordinates: Alpha Centauri A, 12.6 N, 6, 11 Mem08S. Charging the main cannon. Activating electromagnetic containment field. Activating auxiliary stabilization field. Initiating electromagnetic dark matter. Acceleration and cryogenic cooling. Deploying electromagnetic field to isolate the star from cosmic interference. All systems nominal. Firing. There was no fanfare. The preparation time had been extensive. This was a precision interstellar strike. Even a millimeter of deviation would cause the shot to miss. Ironically, the energy required to prepare the shot exceeded the energy of the shot itself. Luna frowned at these figures. Still too inefficient. Ayla's research into strings had been ongoing for over a century, shared with relevant scholars across the Federation, yet they were still grasping at straws. But there was no other way. She didn't have a system like those in novels. Even if a system provided string theory technology, its implementation would require a complete overhaul of the civilization's industrial base to produce the necessary detection equipment. Further research and development of various weapons and equipment would then be necessary. This would take centuries. Unless a system could magically provide all the necessary technology, which would lead to a lack of understanding. It's like being given a lithography machine and being able to create chips without understanding the underlying principles, simply following instructions. Therefore, there are no shortcuts in scientific advancement. Luna could only rely on Ayla and the collective expertise of the Galactic Federation. The Long Serpent sector was 0.317 light-years from Proxima Centauri. 8 months later, Luna received images of the Long Serpent sector after the attack. The distance was vast.